Hello out there in cryptocurrency land. Welcome back to Real Crypto, where we view the market one leg at a time while keeping the market cycle in mind. And right now we've got Bitcoin. I'm looking at three key levels. I'm looking at 6063, which is the bottom of that little right hand shoulder, as a confirmation that this is no longer a valid shoulder in a head and shoulders pattern. I'm looking at 6400 level, which we're pretty close to right now. We're about $37 away, $33 away. And if we get above 64 with volume, it doesn't have to be a lot of volume, but a good amount of volume. If we can break that level, that's going to confirm for me that this would be a shoulder. And then if we get above 68.50, that's going to confirm the inverted head and shoulders. Now, what happens from there? That's another issue. This is still a bear market, and we still do have the possibility of every base breakout failing until proven otherwise. So this would be an abnormality, as a matter of fact, that a reversal pattern plays out. We had a small reversal pattern up here. Now, yes, I do admit it is much smaller, but this was the last inverted head and shoulders we had. And this one did not work at all, actually. I'm on the 6-hour chart. I'm normally on the 2-hour chart, and I'll probably swing back to the 2-hour. But so you can see right there, that is the neckline of this inverted head and shoulders. It did pop, and the volume was very good. Remember, I mentioned that it doesn't necessarily have to pop on tremendous volume. This one did not. So I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. I mentioned 6400 didn't have to pop on tremendous volume. This is not a neckline. 6850 here would be the neckline. This would require more volume as a traditional breakout point. But anyway, this here was the traditional breakout point for this whole inverted head and shoulders. The volume was still pretty good, though. Not great, but still pretty good. Unfortunately, it failed immediately. And just like I said a minute ago, we are in a bear market. Breakouts do fail more often in a bear market. So this inverted head and shoulders, while it looks extremely valid, extremely well structured, the symmetry is nice. I mean, everything about this thing screams at me that it is a very, very valid inverted head and shoulders pattern. I still view everything with skepticism in this type of market environment. But we still have to respect the chart and go with the price action and the levels. I'm not going to hold us short from here all the way up to 68.50. In my opinion, that would be ridiculous. I think you would maybe take profits here if you have shorts from much higher levels. But 6,400 is kind of my breakup point for the shoulder, and then 68.50 for the overall market. So Bitcoin looking pretty healthy. We are, again, rising in lower volume, which gives me less confidence that this is going to work out. Keep in mind, guys, every time we've risen in Bitcoin, this was most recently, everybody was getting super happy, as most of the bulls on Twitter tend to do. You see right here we have the divergence of volume with price action. Volume was declining while price action was increasing, and we can see it over here as well. Oh, come on, trend line tool. There you go. So you can see there volume decreasing while price increasing. And kind of this was a different situation. Most of this low volume was in this little bull flag scenario here. But anyway, we have another situation now where we're rising, and again on lower volume. So we'll see what happens out of here. This could just be a basing area where low volume is healthy, or it could actually be an area where the low volume is indicative of a breakdown at some point. And if you really look at it, if you really look at this closely, there's a good possibility we have another little mini inverted head and shoulders pattern right here. So kind of funny how things tend to work out. So if 6,400 holds and we get a drive lower here, and this is very similar to what we talked about at 6,800. If you recall, we talked about an inverted head and shoulders pattern. Crazy how Bitcoin works. It does the same thing over. It's a rhyming machine. I've said that before. Haven't said it in a while, but Bitcoin's a rhyming machine. So if this inverted head and shoulders plays out, that takes us not even up to 68.50. And here's the funny thing about all these little inverted head and shoulders. Everyone's getting super bullish up here. I think the people that are being super bullish aren't necessarily honest about their overall market view, or if they say they're super bullish, then I just don't understand it. Because even to move up to 68.50 out of the inverted head and shoulders, if you view this as valid and your whole market thesis is this is going to take us higher, the market target for this head and shoulders is to my orange line here, just below 8,000. And what I have here are the prior highs in Bitcoin. And at that point in time, wouldn't this just look like another leg in the lower high scenario for Bitcoin? Kind of looks like it to me. What do you guys think? What do you guys think here? How does this inverted head and shoulders get us out of here? It's simply one pattern in a 8-month long bear market. So even if this does play out, I do not believe it kills the bear market. What I do believe, if this plays out, is it will elongate the bear market. We've talked about in this channel quite significantly that the 2014 bear market in Bitcoin, and at this particular moment in time when this April low failed is when I stopped believing that we rhymed with that 2014 bear market. So I just wanted to point that out so you guys know my bigger term picture. I am still a bear, even though this is an inverted head and shoulders. I am not a perma bear, however. I am waiting to buy Bitcoin at some point in time. And right now, that some point in time is 6,400 for a very possible play up into the 8,000 level. However, if we fail to get above 6,400, I would probably be looking to short this as fast as possible for another test down lower, possibly down here into the shoulder area, giving us 6,250, maybe even as high as 6,300. And then we'll see if we can finally get up to that 6,400 level. So a pretty interesting story that Bitcoin is telling us here. You can look at it on many different time frames and kind of see very interesting action. But overall, nothing really gives you a major bullish perspective. This could just be a little mini run that we have going up here, this being the longer term trend line in Bitcoin. We may not get towards 8,000. Even if this does play out, we may stop here at this trend line. So if you guys don't know where it is, it connects all of those highs right there. So that's pretty much my synopsis for Bitcoin right now. Now, if we do get bullish from here, there are a few altcoins I'm looking at. One of my favorites right now, and one I have an exploratory position in, is actually Tron. Putting in, let's zoom out here. You can probably already see why I like that, but let me zoom out and show you the general pattern in Tron. It's been beaten up pretty badly and has a had a big cup here. Thought it was going to form a handle, then it just started to break down into this kind of declining wedge that it started slowly moving out of all the way at the bottom. I mean, it completely completed this declining wedge. That's highly unusual for a coin to completely finish the rising wedge. Almost. You see it broke out there just before the end, but it completed about 95% of it. And so right now what we have is a very well formed cup with handle, however you want to call it, coming off of this bottoming area. You can see right there a move up, resting before it broke this high, coming back up into it, forming a handle right now. And right now we have a breakout point at about the 548 level, and that would pretty much get you into Tron right now. It's not a very big pattern. I don't think it's going to give you a tremendous gain, but there's a minute possibility you can get a measured move out of this, upwards over the 200 period moving average, maybe up here, and that would put us at about 586, give or take. I know a lot of people will take the measured move off of this. You can do that as well. It doesn't really bother me any. Taking the measured move from that particular point. All right, come on, JavaScript. About the $570 level, give or take, right there. So this is my favorite chart pattern in the market. I'm pretty sure it's not going to give you the biggest percentage gain, but I do like the pattern coming off of that. A well-formed cup with a handle is something that really piques my interest. And some other coins that we've been looking at here, most recently, obviously the big winner of the day was ZRX, which I can't find anymore. Where'd ZRX go? Come on. Oh, right in front of my face. Okay, so ZRX we were looking at in the power hour after the big move up. We were talking about not much. Actually, that trend line's, there we go. That's the proper trend line right there. We were talking about ZRX. It failed, then started to come back, and then we had the Coinbase news, which really got it going. And we saw the cup with a handle right here as well, talking about the breakout point right there for us in the power hour, which was at the 16,315 level. That was kind of the area to get involved in. And then moving up here quite nicely, looking very good, looking similar to ETP. If you guys weren't looking at ETP, this is one of the ones we were also looking at in the power hour. I didn't notice it until the really big pop here, but it formed a nice base here that rallied and then formed another cup with handle. Unfortunately, this one subsequently failed, but this is what is it? ZRX, yeah, District X, right? Yeah, 0x. So 0x rallying, looking similar to this type of a situation to me. We could be in for a bigger basing point at some point in time, and if Bitcoin can get above that 6,400 level, there's a good possibility we can get a good continuation run out of ZRX here. So that would be my ideal situation right now. It's a little high to get involved with. We do have a nice big topping candle right there indicating there's some distribution and some big money is selling, and so probably a little bit of a bigger basis due, but you could buy it over these most recent highs, and that probably could be good for another trade. But something we've seen in the market is that almost any coin in the market that's rallied recently broke up, had a base, broke up again, but has most have failed. In fact, 90% of them have failed to get past that second run. So I don't know how much more steam ZRX has in it, but it is one that's running. It's one we're taking a look at, but we'll have to see how that plays out. And then Ethereum actually acting pretty bullish in relation to Bitcoin. Here's the 200 period moving average on my 2-hour chart. You can see it's poked its head to the upside of that most recently, but the 200's been flattening out here, and Ethereum could get a nice run if Bitcoin starts popping over the $6,400 level. So this is another one I'm looking at as well for a good run. And then the same with Bitcoin Cash, which I actually don't have on this particular chart. All right, but Bitcoin Cash broke over a trend line that we drew yesterday in the power hour here at about the 713, 714 level. And you can see right there rallying up. And obviously we know if Bitcoin gets moving, Bitcoin Cash will probably have a run that's 2 to 3 times what Bitcoin does. So if you're looking for some good percentage gains, but still want to kind of trade within the Bitcoin realm, then Bitcoin Cash probably will be your coin to jump onto. It actually has already broken this trend line here as well. You see both of those moves kind of happen simultaneously in about the same area. So a good breakout there for Bitcoin Cash. Volume not super heavy, but it probably will get heavier here as Bitcoin moves up out of 6,400 if it does have enough momentum to do so. So there you go, guys. That's kind of what I'm looking at here. A few of the leading altcoins that I'm taking a look at, as well as the general synopsis for Bitcoin. So possibly looking for that bounce up out of here. Maybe take some gains there, increase our Bitcoin stack before it rolls over again and kind of fuds everyone out of the market. So I don't think the bear is dead. I don't think this is overall a great place for Bitcoin to be done within. Just to finish off, let's go to the daily chart for good measure and just kind of review everything. And I'm actually going to remove all of these just so you can kind of see on the naked chart, you know, what's what. Still under the 21 EMA, which everyone these days, for some reason, is infatuated with the 21-day exponential moving average. Don't know why, but recently it's popped up all over the place. And still under the 50 days, still under the 200-day. Nothing super bullish down here. This would be, if you're going to hodl this down here, this would be an extreme bottom buy. And there's no real action down here indicating that the bottom is in. This is simply a reversal pattern, more than likely headed to a bounce for another short entry, maybe up towards 7,600 if we're lucky. So, all right, guys, thanks for joining me today. I appreciate it. Feel free to check out my website, real-crypto.com. I'd appreciate if you guys looked at the power hour stuff. It was something you'd be interested in joining. And also check out our webinar offerings. Just go ahead and peruse the site. It's kind of fun. All right, guys, thanks for joining me today. I appreciate it. I'll see you next time.